Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Practical Balance. My name is Jen Westlake from Soululaire, and I'm joined today with my friend Janice Whiting from Lifted Spirits. We're really happy to see you today. Janice, how are you doing?
Fabulous. Always fabulous. How are you?
I am doing good. I am doing good.
Good.
I'm just seeing a lot of changes taking place right now, and I feel like a lot of information and truth is coming out right now in a really, really fast way. Um, I have to be careful to not allow myself to get inundated and overwhelmed by everything that's happening and all of the reports that are coming out, like with the Twitter files and some of these other things that are being released right now, the information coming out through Congress and all of that. So I am
Mm.
working really hard to practice that stopping and going into the silence and just allowing my mind to take a break and then recalibrate itself from a space of peace and things like that. But it's all good. It's all good because I trust spirit is guiding and directing my life. So I'm really happy about that. And so that's kind of what's been going on with me. But I am really interested, is there a message from spirit today?
Yes. One of the things that you just mentioned triggers something that I remember Spirit saying a few years ago. They said that if humans try to play the game of Earth the human way, they're not going to get through the challenges of, and that meant last year and this year and whatever human challenges they're not going to get through the human challenges by playing the game of Earth humanly. um, they said the downside is human that won't work for humans. The upside is it forces them to try something different, and it forces them to try to master the game of Earth spiritually. And what you said reminds me of something that I even read today on Facebook. It was Walmart. Walmart said that they were not going to buy the products of the people who sell to the store if they raised their prices, that they were going to sell their own brands and then keep the prices low. And the stores who sell to them said, too bad, our plan is to raise prices more, two and three more times. So,
Wow.
uh, which again is a challenge for many humans who have been challenged by this financial situation. So they certainly, I suspect it might be more difficult to bring in more money. I mean, like get another job or two or three jobs or whatever.
Mhm.
So that would be the human way. And Spirit says that's not going to solve their problems. What they're going to have to master as they master the game of Earth spiritually is master blessing, master doing your own magic. Um, you would bless your dollars as you go to the store. I would bless my dollars that they act as 10. So $10 hopefully even acts like 100. I would love that. And I've had many odd circumstances that it did. Um, and so that is how I have a smooth, financially great, effortless dynamics, because I have learned from them that I have to play the game of Earth the spiritual way. So financially, um, that's what humans will have to do. But I suspect it rolls over into everything. You know, you would bless your body to stay healthier if you didn't have insurance. You will bless your food that it assists you to be the best that you can be so you don't get sick. You will bless your dollars that the act is 10.
Mhm.
You will bless that the things that you desire are more affordable. Um,
Mhm.
and so you would, and I've heard Spirit say this, bless your butt off. That is how you master. That's a big piece of mastering the game of Earth spiritually.
Mhm.
And because the external human world, financial world, and dynamics you can tell by the stores when they would say, we're going to raise them. Not only are we raising them again, we're going to raise them a few more times. That is our plan. That's what they, that's what the article said,
Mhm.
that they had told Walmart. And so,
And why are they choosing to do that? Did the article say?
certainly always it would be greed. I mean,
Mhm.
yes, I understand that fuel costs more, and even in my car, I bless my fuel that that I maximize my gas. I do that. I bless everything. I'm just a continuous blesser. Um, and my life stays quite simple and problem free because of it.
Mhm.
So usually in the morning, I always just bless that those who spirit wants me to talk to, they call. I don't want to be in control. I just would prefer, because I can't, no one's in control of the money. No one's really in control of, they have a job, but and they hope they keep their job. But every time I look, um, the airlines is laying off, Amazon's laying off, everybody's laying off
Right.
in a time that's crucial that they don't. And
Right.
so, um, because people need housing, they need food, they need medicine, and so, um, and the greedy banks, sadly, the humanness of a greedy bank is they would take your house. They'll take your vehicle. They'll take everything. I mean, as if they could never get enough. It's like
Mhm.
so greedy. So you won't be successful the human way. Humans will have to find and try the spiritual way.
Mhm.
So that is an important, I think that's important to definitely master this month of March, as we had talked about before. But
Mhm.
definitely, it's, I do it every day, every week, every month, every year,
Mhm.
because I want a simple, problem free, abundant, happy, healthy life.
Right, right.
And
The one thing
so,
I like about blessing is that it is an empowered statement. It's like you said, Spirit, bless my food that it will help my body be the best that it can be. Spirit, bless my financial situation. Bless that every dollar act like 10. And so every time that you put out a blessing statement, you're doing it from a state of empowerment and from
and
a state of
attention,
intention and
conscious
positivity.
consciousness. It's a
Yes.
state of consciousness. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be conscious participants on this game of earth. People cannot just sit back and hope the world, the government, whoever
Mm-hmm.
steps in and just solves their problems in life, because at the moment, I'm not saying down the road it won't be that way, but we'll say at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
nobody is going to look out for the self but the self. So the self has to start doing their own magic and mastering the game of earth spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like the scripture says, pray, believe, pray with real intent, believing that ye shall receive. And so when you bless, you pray as if you've already received it, having that trust and faith that spirit will take the reins and assist you in, living more spiritually, more magically. And I
True.
honestly, Janice, seriously, I don't know how people are surviving living life the human way right now. I mean, especially for these last
Mhm.
few years. I don't know why more people are not down on their knees praying and trying and working and partnering with spirit and their angels and their guides
To do
to
their
help
own
them.
magic and create their own miracles.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
The
this
world will not do that.
the
Mhm.
human way just is not working.
It's true.
And people are just spinning their wheels, and it's just making matters worse for them the more they try to um, do this in the human way. And I feel bad for them. And I've tried to give coaching to people, and some people have embraced the coaching that I've given them, and they're receiving success. but I have other people that look at me like I am the biggest quack and that I
Mm-hmm.
am like totally fringe and coming from left field. And their
Mm-hmm.
lives are just getting harder and harder with one bad thing happening after another. And
It is a challenge to
them.
switch dynamics. It is a, and I'm sure that's, I think Spirit created this challenge because I remember years ago, Spirit said, nobody tries anything new when everything's going smooth and working. I
Mm-hmm,
mean, they if when they don't have a problem, they do not really tend to break out of the box and try something new.
mm-hmm,
And so I do think part of the world's challenges are to pressure people. Well, it's to help people realize the human way is not going to work.
right.
And that's what they're saying. It's not working. And
Mm-hmm,
yet it's and many probably don't even know that that they can learn ways, pray and master the game of earth spiritually
mm-hmm,
and be their own creators. Or like you said, they think you're crazy. And I'm like, well, I know I don't run the universe. That's what Spirit tells me all the time. I don't run the universe. But, and so then they say, I can only do it for me. And I do it for me. And I share the recipe because they say, my soul's obligation is to master the game of earth spiritually for me, then
mm-hmm,
share the recipe. And
mm-hmm,
so that's all we can do is
right.
do it ourselves because at least we benefit. But would I, if I ran, I tell Spirit, if I ran the universe, everybody would. And they say, that's why you don't run the universe, because people have to figure that out for themselves.
Right.
And this challenging way of being on earth is probably what will motivate people to try a spiritual
Approach.
formula. And I'm not saying religious, or I'm not saying, political or whatever. I'm just saying a spiritual dynamics
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
to create a partnership with source,
mm-hmm.
whatever people want to name it.
Right. Right.
Partnership with source and connect with them and the universe and be your own conscious creator.
Right.
No one will do it for the self but the self.
Right. I remember in one of my near death experiences, I was told that, we are here on earth as a soul to develop spiritually and gain soul mastery. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a little bit surprised, Janice, I have to be honest, that I do see that there's people waking up, but there's still a huge amount of people, probably more along the lines of the general population, with all of the craziness happening, they're still just not getting a clue.
I think
What?
they're waiting for the government to uh, step up and help people. And the truth is, it is not a humanitarian political government, in my opinion, in any country. This is why I suspect it's happening all over the world. And
Mhm.
the universe and spirit is making it happen because they want people all over the world to step up and master the game of earth spiritually.
What do you think it's going to take? Do you think we do need like a massive scare event to snap people out of a brainwashing, a hypnotic spell, or just their complacency? What's
Well,
it going
if
to
this
take?
hasn't done it, I'm surprised. But
Me
if it
too.
hasn't done it, spirit will have another. Spirit will create another problem that humans cannot handle humanly until they finally decide to partner with spirit, the universe, source.
Hmm. Yeah, I just can't see how much more it's going to take for people to start getting desperate, start feeling outraged, and with the way life is getting, because it's just getting so much harder for the average person.
Yes,
And
okay, people call me worried and uh, worried even for things that haven't happened yet if I lose my job. But but definitely the people that are living the challenge um, call me. And all I can say is you won't solve this the human way. You have to try mastering the game over spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And
Frankly, that's what we're
the
hearing
sooner
every
the
day.
better. The sooner the better because um, the sooner the better because the human way is not going to work and they're just wasting time.
Right, right. Now, is there going to be, I hear about these two different timelines, a positive timeline and a negative timeline. Do these people need to wake out before the bifurcation where, some people go down the negative and so some people go down the positive, and there's a point of no return for them to, switch to the positive timeline? I
No,
mean,
from what I not I don't think so. From what I've heard from Spirit, you can always switch to the positive timeline. And an example is I know people who call me who have stage 4 cancer already being given a timeline. And if it's if it's not in their soul's plan to leave at a specific moment, I say you are a co-creator in this. You can you and spirit will say we'll help them heal. And I have seen, and I'm sure everybody has nowadays, someone in stage 4 cancer has had treatments,
mhm,
spiritual, traditional, non-traditional, spiritual, human, and have pulled out of it and gone into remission. And that was never thought possible.
mhm, mhm.
I have had clients that went to a psychic healer recently, and then I've had another client that actually tried, chemo and radiation. And the universe says, we use both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that. I believe, but I also think that using both techniques comes with a spiritual mindset and a belief in saying, Spirit, transmute this chemotherapy that it will actually heal my body,
Well,
and
I, I,
bless it, like you say.
I say on some level that's true. I think that it's another crisis to help people often
Mm-hmm.
wake up and um, wake up and think out of the box and try to say what is meant by mastering the game of earth spiritually. What
Right.
are the pieces of the puzzle of that? And when you
Mm-hmm.
learn that, um,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually quite simple to understand, humans complicate to apply, but simple to understand. Because often what the universe teaches in spirit is really simple. They say, like, simply bless, or simply risk to speak your truth, or simply this and simply that. They think spiritual dynamics is actually quite simple. It's humans that complicate. Humans are complicated. And
Right.
so,
We tend to
but
make
it
things
is a
way more complicated than they need to be, for
So
sure.
I just suspect if spirit wants people to wake up and master the game of earth spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
how to do that is going to come out more, will be brought into a person's life. If spirit wants them to learn that method, the method will be brought into their life.
Right, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also think that, if there's people seeking for assistance, I think it's, beginning to have the courage to, ask the universe source, like you said, whatever name you want to give your higher power, to partner and come into their lives, invite them in, because they can't come in and help you unless you ask. I mean, we are living in a free will universe, and so we do need to ask for what we need, and we need to ask for what we want.
Well, I realized I've heard spirit say it's a risk. And humans say, well, risking's hard. And spirit says, no, you risk every day. You get in your car to go from point A A to point B, you're risking that if you drive safe, someone won't hit you. If you, the night before you get married, you're probably pondering, this could be a risk. and you and you think, well, my heart wants to, so we'll do it anyway. And people that invest, that's a risk. People that have children, that's probably a risk. So
Right.
you're risking to do those things.
Uh-huh.
People want to buy a house, that's a risk. And so, why is it so hard just to risk to try to do things a spiritual way rather than a human?
Do you think it's a fear that they feel that maybe their prayer or request is going to hit the ceiling and just drop back down to the floor? Do you think they're going to be disappointed or fear that they're not going to be heard? What do you
But
suppose?
isn't that a risk you take with the human things? What if my marriage don't last? What if this job doesn't last? I have a client, and this is funny. She's a great risker. I love her. She'll be at a job and it will have some funky dynamics. And she'll say, I can't deal with that unauthenticness. And I say, well, you are working with humans. I don't know if you'll find a place that they're all
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. You work with humans, there's always something crazy going on. And she'll say, help me find another job, so we'll do a treatment. And she'll get another job in another month that pays equal or more, and then she'll get to that job, and within 2 or 3 weeks she realized there's some more funky dynamics. And so she'll call me and she'll say, oh, or I've been here 2 months, and she'll say, let's treat from something else. And I know that she herself has been through 3 or 4 jobs in this past year. But she keeps getting them, and they pay good,
Mm-hmm.
and they're close to her where she lives. And it's like, I mean, perfect, except for she's working with often crazy humans. So, what, and I have helped many, many, many people switch jobs from 2 or 3 times quickly, maybe till they found the one they really like.
Right,
Or
right,
or I've had one older lady that she was being abused at her job as she worked for the government, and then and so we treated, and she got another job within a month or two that treated her fabulous. And I was like, but got to tell you, there's still some crazy humans there. So
right.
you'll just have to bless when you go in each day that you have a fabulously joyful, abundant day. And so,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a human world, it's human earth, and
Right.
where is a place that everyone's awake, kind, supportive, co-creative
Mm-hmm.
fellow employees?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, I just kind of feel like, every day, we do need to just take that risk to partner with spirit. And honestly, I think that if you are willing to do that, you're going to start to be pleasantly surprised, you know, and just start paying attention every day, be in the present moment, and you'll start seeing little good things to help you along your day. Start looking for God's hand working
Yeah,
in your life.
start looking and start creating. I
Yeah.
mean, my car's brake acted weird two weeks ago, so I took it to the shop, and I expected there to be a problem, and they said, no, we looked it over really good, there's no problem, so we didn't charge you. I love it. So that is my life and my world, but that is because I am a blesser.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Spirit say, bless your butt off, and I do.
I think that's
Every
gonna have to be, we're going to have to make a t-shirt that says that, bless your butt off.
Yeah, yeah. Odd
Because
they
that's
say
what
that.
you got
They
to
do.
do, folks. What you got to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Bless your butt off, and
Uh-huh.
because in order to bless, you have to be conscious of an agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and um, you have to be conscious of creating, I suspect, your desired outcome. And
Yeah.
so, really, it forces you to be conscious.
Mm-hmm.
a conscious creator, rather than sit. I remember Spirit saying, either life defines you or you define life.
Mm-hmm.
And you would not believe the people that call me, and I'm not complaining because I love them all, but they'll say, but when they'll be talking and you say something, in my mind is like, that's the most life defining you statement that could be. You're going to have to find a way to switch that. Either life is defining you or you're defining life. So people need to be conscious of their statements.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, I can't do this or this. I don't want this negative thing to happen. And what I mean, and often they are considered practicing spiritualists.
Right.
And um, and yet, knowing it and doing it is two separate things, because what they say is a very often, I hear in sessions I do, very life defining statements from spiritualists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, you can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Either life defines you or you define life. That's just the physics, simple yin yang physics of the universe. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a challenge, whatever the challenge is, stop, get quiet, and think, um, how do I want to pray or treat for this? What
Mm-hmm.
is my agenda?
Mm-hmm.
And
What is my ideal outcome and result if I could have it my way? That's what it.
right, yeah. And that's another thing that I tell people, and I even tell my husband, it's all about me. It's my way. And he knows that I'm not a compromiser. And that's because Spirit told me, never compromise, always negotiate. When you compromise, somebody's not happy. Often two people aren't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you renegotiate, then you come up with a plan that both people are happy with. So
Mm-hmm.
forever I've heard Spirit say to me, never compromise, always negotiate. And they think that we should spend every day negotiating with
Mm-hmm.
people around us, people at work, and actually and negotiating with Spirit. I've negotiated with them many times. You
Right.
can negotiate with Spirit, and they're fine with it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a win-win for both. No one's compromising. So that is how they will somewhat be conscious creators. To know the self is to own the self, so you can assess the self, then redefine the self. And
Mm-hmm.
how is it you want to play the game of earth while you're on earth?
Right.
And humans don't take that power. They
Right.
just think, oh, life defines me.
Mm-hmm.
Always humans call and say, this is defining me. And I'm thinking, then switch it. It's like, switch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like, negotiation and blessing helps. It's actually the more positive, confident,
Mm-hmm.
and empowered approach to take, because
True.
when you bless and when you negotiate, you create win-win situations instead of a win-lose situation, which is the human
Or
way.
lose.
Yeah.
Often you compromise, both people lose.
Right.
Right. And so negotiating is mastering the game of earth spiritually, a
Mm-hmm.
piece of the puzzle, of the pie. And also, negotiating is empowering, and negotiating is conscious creation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of mastering the game of earth spiritually.
That's great. Everyone, we are here and want to thank you for joining us today. And hopefully, the things that we are telling you can assist you in your life to take a risk, to negotiate, to bless, to take a positive, confident approach. Be kind to yourself and then share that recipe with those that are in your life and those you come in contact with. Janice, is there anything else that you'd like to say today before we get to say goodbye?
No, I think it is to emphasize that people be conscious participants. So that is one of the things I have had to learn from Spirit, as they've taught me the recipe, which I share, which you share. So, but we, but a recipe, if you have a recipe for a cake and you stick it in your pocket, you don't get the cake. If you have a recipe for a cake and you bake it, you get the cake.
Great.
So
All right,
bake your
everyone.
cake,
Let's
everybody.
have a piece of cake, everybody.
Yeah, bake
All
that
right.
cake.
All right. Well,
Okay,
thank you so much
you're welcome.
for being here. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, you can please leave your questions or comments below the video or email us at hello@soululaire.com. We appreciate you all and we wish you a very good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Blessings to all.
Blessings to all. Bye.